Welcome back, I'm Paul, and it is Sunday, so it's time to go through the 12-pound barrel. I don't have any assistants today, so we'll see if we can get through it by ourselves. Everything's looking really red. We put a bunch of red Jasper in there last week, so that would explain that. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but it definitely has a good red color to it. We got our couple pieces of big petrified wood there and some amethyst and see some crazy lace. Thinking a couple of those big pieces might be coming out this week. I'm getting tired of tumbling them. There goes a piece of rose quartz on the floor. See, I can't do it without my assistants. Got some blue tiger eye, bunch of crazy lace, amethyst. Of course, some more red Jasper. I ordered some red Jasper from one place, and it was really, really bright red, super bright red with like white quartz veins in it. And I've ordered like 2 or 3, ordered it again from a couple different places trying to figure out where I got it, and I haven't got the same stuff back. I'm kind of disappointed. But I'll keep trying. Because that other stuff I got was super bright red. I want to get some more of that. Some more petrified wood, some amethyst, some crazy lace. All right, I'll go ahead and go through that and see what's ready to move on, and we'll see what we have to add to the barrel this week. All right, I've gone through everything to see what I'm ready to move on, and we're actually having a really big clean out this week. I just want to show you some of the things that are kind of hard to make a decision on sometimes. It's a judgment call a lot of times, I'd say. Like, this is a piece of the big petrified wood that we've been tumbling for a long time, and I cut the top of it off the other day, last week, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a bump that you can feel right here. There's a line. And this material right here is wearing away faster than this is. So no matter what I do until I would tumble that whole thing off, that's going to be there. And then there's some things on this side where you can kind of see it's kind of cracky right here. And no matter what you do, those lines won't smooth out. They just keep kind of chipping. As it gets really, really thin, it chips and chips and chips. So eventually you get to the point where you have to make a judgment call where this part all looks perfect. It looks really nice. And this part looks really good. But where they come together, it's never going to be completely smooth and perfect. It's hard to see in the camera there, but when you run your finger on it, you can really feel it. So I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to pull that this week, and we're going to polish it and see what it looks like. And then I also have this big piece of petrified wood, this rainbow petrified wood that we've been working on. And you can see that there's a crack running in it right there. And there's a crack right here, and then you get over to this side, and there were bad spots in here. And I mean, I've already rolled this a long ways. It's a lot smaller than when we started, but there's a crack running through it right here, and then there's this little chip right here that to get rid of that flaw, you would have to tumble that until that chip broke off. and then it's going to be rough behind it still. And then same with this chip right here. And then you can see there's a crack running through there right there. So it's one of those things when you're, some materials, no matter what you do, you can see a crack on this corner right there. I'm never going to get that perfect, but when you get that wet and see what it's going to look like polished, it'll still look pretty cool. It's got a lot of cool colors, but it's got some flaws. And I'm the type of person that I like as few flaws as possible. Some of them you just have to live with, but it can be a judgment thing, trying to figure out what to move on and what to tumble another week. There's our Lake Superior agate. And I'm going to move it on this week. There's still some holes in the bottom. I got it wet, so they fill up with water and it's harder to see. There, I dried it. You can see all those holes. And they're going to hold grit, and I'm going to have to clean them a little bit better when I go into my next stages. But to get rid of that, it would totally, I mean, I could grind it, but then it's going to give our rock a flat look rather than a natural look. And there's a little chip right there, but I've already been tumbling it long enough that I'm not going to tumble it till that's gone because I really like the pattern. So that's part of it is if you want to keep the pattern you have, sometimes you just got to move them on. What brought this on this week was basically the crazy lace, because if you look at this, it's a pretty small piece and it's got a lot of cool patterns in it, but you can see there's material here that is rough, and then there's that pocket right there. And this material is probably softer than this, and that's why that's wore out. And no matter what I do, I mean, I could grind it and give it a flat spot or just keep tumbling it, but basically I'm going to tumble it away to where there's hardly anything left. So you get to a point where I've got several examples on the crazy lace. This week, the crazy lace really reminded me how difficult it can be to really decide what to move on. Like that's got that crack. I may try to break it, but I don't know. I kind of like the pattern in it. Even though it has the crack, it's got a pretty cool pattern, and obviously you're never going to tumble that crack away. And it's probably going to hold grit, but we'll see what happens. I haven't made my decision on that one yet. And then here's another crazy lace. It's got a really cool pattern on it, but it's got a spot right there where it's low, where that little pattern is. And then I thought it had another spot. I'm not seeing it right now. Oh, these eyes right here. Those two spots right there. You can see how they're low. So, I mean, I could tumble that for a long time and try to get rid of that, but I might lose my pattern. And it's such a small piece the way it is, and it's got a really cool pattern on it. So, even if it's not perfect, it still looks nice. I have this one also. And this one doesn't have a lot going on. It's got some quartz on it, and it's chipped up, but it's got a pretty cool pattern on it right there. And if you look on the top, it's got some deep holes, but it's part of the pattern. So I really don't like moving things on that have flaws like that, but I also don't want to tumble that away till there's nothing left, because there's probably material in there that's softer than the other stuff, so it's just going to keep eroding away like that as you tumble it. So I just wanted to take a little extra time and show some of these pieces, because sometimes, no matter what you do, you're not going to get rid of those flaws. You either just have to live with it, or it's not a very good rock to choose for you to tumble. So the crazy lace has been one of the most trying rocks for me, because it seems like every time I get it, I love the pattern on it and it just looks awesome, but it's so tough to decide when to move it to the next stage and when to keep rolling it, trying to figure out what flaws you can get rid of and which ones you can't. So that's all I really had to say today. I just wanted to show some of these pieces that we've been tumbling for a long time. And there's a reason I tumble them a long time, because I try to get all the flaws or most of them out. But eventually you just have to call it and move them on. So we actually pulled a lot. I've got a bunch sitting on my bench here that we just looked at. And then I've got all this stuff that we're actually pulling this week. So there's some more crazy lace in here. A lot of it's, I ordered smaller crazy lace than I normally do because I wanted to do something different with it. But like this one's got a crack running in it, right? Or it's not even a crack, it's just a different material. And it will keep eroding away every week. So we've got a bunch of amethysts that we're pulling out. We've got some petrified wood. Like this stuff, it's got a different texture to it, and it just keeps rolling, and it still has that texture, and it won't go away. And like that crack right there, I could break it because there's a crack running through there. But a lot of the petrified wood I've had has got cracks in it like that. And you can't get rid of it. Some other petrified woods are like agatized woods even. Seem like they're a lot better. So we're going to move all this stuff on. And we'll get back to the barrel and see what we've got to fill it up. Because we got a lot of room this week. So I hope that close-up gave you a little bit better idea of what I'm looking at and how hard it can be sometimes trying to figure out what you want to move on and what you want to try to tumble another week. So I found a container of some things that I found locally that I think are like chert and flint. And this one I'm pretty excited about. I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but it's kind of got like lines and bands in it. I never even noticed it when I picked it up. It just has a waxy texture to it and luster to it, and I think that it's chert or flint, but I'm pretty excited to see, because a lot of that chert and flint, it shines up really, really nice. So I'm hoping that that one turns out good. And then some of these other ones, I don't know, I think they're just about the same stuff. It doesn't come in a large variety of very bright colors in our area, at least. And I've got this one that it might possibly be petrified wood or agatized wood, I'm not sure. All of this is just stuff that I found because it had the waxy look to it. These ones you can see are dry, and they've got a shiny, waxy look to it, and I think that that's chert. All of these are about the same, just a little bit different colors. So we're going to throw some of those in. This one's got some white stuff going on in it, so it could be really cool. And this is another one that I'm not 100% sure, but it might be agatized wood. It has that, or it might just be chert. And all of these are the same look. So we're going to throw these ones in. I've got some more, but I kind of picked out some of my favorites. And we will see what they look like next week. And I think for the rest of it, we're just going to throw some more of our red Jasper. And I've got a bunch more stuff that we're going to be throwing in this barrel here in the real near future, but I haven't got it cut up yet. But this came in about the right size already, so it doesn't need to be cut. Alright, so we got everything loaded back up. We're about 2/3 full. And we've got our 14 tablespoons of 4670 silicon carbide grit. And we'll get that back on the tumbler and get it going for another week, and we'll be ready to check it out again next week. See how things are looking. Thanks for watching.